said I'd never join.
Thought living on sub would be too hard.
I figured only the weatherman track storms.
I said my job wouldn't matter.
Never knew how strong I was. I never thought this would be my commute.
I figured I'd never get out of my hometown. Or be the one who stops an attack.
Joining the Navy sounds crazy. Saying never actually is.
Hi, welcome to Vets Chatting with Granny Lisa. I am Granny, obviously, and then I have my co-host, Peggy the Enforcer. We do a show together that's Vets Coming Clean. What have you seen? And so I made a huge boo-boo today. I had a guest lined up. It was going to be a very special guest. His name is Brian Talley, and he does a podcast called Today with Talley. And his podcast is so cool because he has such a variety of guests, and on his guests, you always leave inspired. And I always think that that's a very successful show when you can inspire somebody, make a difference. And I have not seen a bad show that this gentleman has ever done. And of course, you know, he's a Marine, and we all know how I feel about Marines, even though I'm Army. But anyway, I made a boo-boo in telling him, yes, 11 o'clock, and he said CMT time, and I took it as my MST time. So when he contacted me, I'm like, oh no. So yeah, I feel really bad. I let him down. I was hoping he would like be on my show, give me some tips, you know, kind of grade me and say that you need to do this more. Well, I already know what he's going to say on the first grade is you F on timing. Oh, Peggy, I don't know.
Grace, sister, give yourself grace.
Oh,
I mean, come on.
I know, but still.
Your Mountain Time. I'm Central Standard Time. It's easy to happen. It happens all the time.
I know.
And it's because people say my time or your time, and then they don't specify whether it's a specific.
No, I looked at the email. I looked at the email to make sure it was me.
We all make mistakes. It happens. The show must go on, right?
Yes, and that's why we are here, because I don't want anybody thinking, well, I'm already, messed up. I'm not going to continue the mess up without having a show.
Speaking of mess ups, the mess up we had last night, it stream. We didn't realize we had to click that twice, but you know what? We're all about transparency here, and so that's why we're going
bloopers away. I can't wait to. Well, I know I love bloopers after a show or during the show. Have you ever seen those TV shows that had just bloopers?
Oh, absolutely, and those are the best moments when you see humanity come out. The people being themselves, being real. Mean to happen, but you know what? Some of your best content is that way. It's real stuff. It's the real thing, the truth to what is.
Well, on the what do you call those DC kind of shows, Batman or all those
comic type shows.
Yeah, yes. They always show at the end some kind of bloopers, or and I always stick around just to watch the bloopers.
I do too, and so I'm glad we discussed it afterwards, and we're like, you know what, we're just going to leave it in.
Yeah.
And that way, whenever we make mistakes, we're not going to go back and edit anything. Everything's going to be live, whatever. Just like we're sitting around the campfire back in the military, shooting the shit and talking.
Exactly. Well, and that's what I like to do. That's what I enjoy doing with the podcast. When when we got together, we had the similarities of what we wanted, what the dream is. and that is to touch military, touch our soldiers, our veterans, PTSD, and my personal vice is suicide.
Right.
So, I I'm a granny personality. I can't help it. So when the veterans started responding towards me and wanting to talk to me, I mean, you can't say no.
No.
I love them. They're my kids, and So what if I've not ever personally met you? You've become part of my family right then and there, and sometimes that's what we all need. Is
Well,
that one person?
because you don't know what the other person's been through. You don't know what their family's going
Yeah.
through, and if their family can be there for them or what. And because
Yeah.
you don't know that other person's situation, if you've got time, if I have time, I'm there for people.
Yeah.
If I'm harsh or something, I apologize. If I realize it afterwards, like, oh, I didn't mean to be harsh. I was in my own thing, and I apologize.
Yeah.
And I find when we're open, we're honest, and we're upfront and straightforward,
Mhm.
make a lot more friends, and you get a lot further in life than trying to hide stuff and wearing a
Oh,
mask like people wear all the time, pretending they're someone they're not.
right. And now my question to you is that we're both vets, and I
Yes,
think there's nobody that understands a veteran like a veteran. We may
right.
not have the same experience exactly, but trauma is trauma. And when you have PTSD, that stuff that's tough shit. I mean, pardon my language, but it is tough. And I don't care, if it's combat, Lord Almighty, my heart breaks even more because of I call them demons. You're haunted by the demons, you're attacked. I've had it to where I can be just doing something and boom, something will trigger me. And I feel not only in my mind's eye, my whole body takes me back to that moment. I can
That time and place.
smell,
Yeah.
I can feel all of it, and it just takes over your body.
Oh, I
So,
know.
a lot of people go, "Oh, I have PTSD. I stubbed my toe and now I can't think for myself." Okay, I'll try to be compassionate, but until you talk to a combat veteran,
Or
okay?
a sexual trauma veteran.
Oh,
I
yes,
understand these veterans that have had sexual trauma that don't want the opposite sex, the opposite gender being their
yes,
position or being alone in a room with the opposite gender. I
right.
understand that completely because a lot of my trauma came from when I was single female in my unit and I didn't know that they were supposed to have another female in there whenever they disciplined me behind closed doors or anything. And, I understand why women don't want male doctors or want one-on-one interactions with males. And I understand why men are the same way with women because there are ugly women out there that do the same thing to men.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and that's the other thing, too, is that, the VA, I have my opinion on a lot of them. You probably have yours. But I think where the lacking of is they're catching up to how to serve the female veterans. They are completely blind. I don't know who are they talking to get the ideas to serve us better. I mean, are they literally talking to somebody that's been trauma, and are they listening to them? I don't know. Where are they getting? Because
In my
I get
personal
put in
experience,
with the room with the male with nobody else in there.
no.
I mean, it's like, or what about when you go in and have X-rays
Yeah.
and everything like that? If you're having your, what do you call it? Blah blah blah.
mastectomies or anything like that. But did you know our VA actually has a chaperone program? Does your VA have that?
If it does, I don't know about it.
Well, our VA actually has a chaperone program. As of right now, I think there's only one volunteer, which really stinks because, there's a lot of women veterans that have PTSD and are uncomfortable and don't have family or anybody to go with them. And so I think all the VAs should have chaperone programs, and even when the person's in the hospital, if they want a chaperone or somebody to be there to be supportive when the doctor comes in the room, I think that should be appropriate. Don't you?
Oh, absolutely. But okay,
For
let's
example,
talk. Yes, give me
I
one.
want to tell you when I was in the hospital for the suicide watch because the medication was doubled and it made me suicidal. I was in the hospital, and when you go for the medical review to see how you're doing while you're in there, you're not allowed to have another veteran, another patient go with you. All you have is that staff. That's not one doctor in you. That's the doctor's assistant, the nurse, and several other people, and including any trainees or medical students that they have that are doing research. It's like going in front of a jury
or a parole board.
And you're in there trying to get better and for your mental health and your mental well-being. Well, how does that make you feel when you're put on trial? Literally put on trial, and you're there trying to get better. It's scary, Granny.
Oh, I know. I've been there.
Every single person in there is judging you. They're looking at what you look at, how you talk, how you act. If you're scratching, they're watching your body language. They're observing everything and judging you.
Oh, yes. And it's horrible. You feel like you're on the parole board and if you already have PTSD, anxiety, it's through the roof, Oh, please just make yourself comfortable. Okay. How am I supposed to sit? Where do I put my hands? Okay, I'm shaking. I'm nervous. And then I say, oh, don't be nervous. That's easier said than done. I tell you what, I'll come up there and sit next to you and we can all just talk.
Right.
Or you go sit down there. I'll sit up here with these guys.
Well,
why do they do that?
I don't know. And something else I didn't understand, Granny, that's bothered me since I was in the hospital is the chaplains. I always thought that chaplains should cover every and any religion out there. If you're sick, they should know your belief system, no matter what it is. You request something, they should get it. Am I wrong?
No, that's what I was told.
Well, see, when I was in, I asked for the Book of Serenity because I was trying to get my mind right. And the Book of Serenity is a book in Buddhism that has stories and stuff, and you can learn from those stories how people's behaviors and stuff and people think, and it helps you think better. Well, I asked this of the chaplain, and they bought me an addiction recovery Bible. Granny, I was so upset. I was like, this is not what I asked for, but we can't help you. Well, I gave you the number to an individual that could actually get this for me. Did you call him? And I got blown off, and I'm like, wow, y'all really are not trying to help me, because if you were, you would have known that I had, been trying to learn more than just this religion. I didn't want that book because my best friend that helped me realize I had PTSD had been in and out of rehab and given that exact book. And so it triggered me even more because it made me start thinking about her and her issues and the way she's been done and how it's been shoved down her throat, even though she was a pagan. It's like, how insensitive can we be?
Well, okay. Was it a military chaplain or was it a
VA chaplain? It was
that
a VA chaplain.
Then if it's a VA chaplain, they're supposed to handle all religious requests.
I so too. I really thought so.
I mean, does that mean if I'm okay, you said pagan, okay. If I'm pagan and I'm getting ready to die, are they going to come and do a what do you call it, Catholic last rites to me?
I don't know. That's why I started spiraling, and I was like, let me out of here. I don't want to be in here anymore because you're not respecting my beliefs as and wanting to research Buddhism. I'm having trouble and I'm trying to get my mind right. And so I'm wanting to study philosophical and mind studies. And you bring me something that's religious and not what I asked for.
Right.
That was insulting.
Yeah.
Very insulting, and it hurt because how many veterans have they done that to that didn't speak up and weren't understanding and then got out and went home and killed themselves because these people weren't compassionate and understanding because their beliefs were different.
Well, and that's the thing is that there's definitely a difference between how they deal with a male veteran to a female veteran. And
But
yes,
not just that, Granny, but if your sexuality is different, they treat you different too.
yeah,
Did you know that?
yeah. I mean, you mean the sex changes and stuff like that?
Not just the sex changes, but no, RVA started asking what's your sexuality? Are you straight? You bi? You what?
I didn't think that was allowed to ask.
I didn't either. And
I
what
mean,
really
I
upset
never
me was
answer them.
I actually answered, and I answered honestly. And then when I was in the hospital, my husband and I overheard nurses arguing about who was going to give me a shower because of my sexuality.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, Granny.
Well, don't answer those questions anymore. Dang,
Well,
but it
see,
shouldn't have been an issue anyway.
it shouldn't. It really
No.
shouldn't, because you're there, you're sick, you need help. You're not looking at who's helping you. You're just wanting to get out and be with your family. You don't care who helps you get back to being on your feet and with your family. You don't care about them and their lives. If they want to share it, good. It helps you get your mind off your problems.
Right.
But I was appalled, Granny. I was
would
like,
be
are
too.
you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Because that's the thing is that you have people, especially if they're suicidal. Okay, we've both have been in the system. I don't mind sharing that. If you guys ever have any questions, I will be honest with you on what I've experienced. I have been in a state mental hospital. I have been in the VA system hospital. And I was also in an outreach program in the VA. And that was a year program. So, I've been through the system, and you have too. And they're definitely like when I was in the year program, there was 700 men.
Oh my God.
And there was 22 females.
Wow.
That was it. So do you know how uncomfortable that was? And get this, when I went in, I didn't even get on the same floor as the women. They had a whole separate women's area, and they put me in with the men.
Because they didn't have any room in the women's
They
lab.
didn't have any more room in the women.
It's the same if you go to the hospital and you need a hospital. If you go and get admitted to the hospital, the men will have single rooms, but they'll put all the women in the same room.
Yes, they will. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. And the thing is that, I, MST, right? Besides all the other things, do you know how hard it was to just take a shower?
Oh, absolutely.
Even though my room is locked, I can lock my door.
Oh, at the VA, you can't hear. There's no doors or anything.
No, I was in the White City area.
Okay.
And so they had this whole facility. It was the old hospital, but they made it into a rehabilitation. But, the guys that took care of the guards or whatever, watched over the rooms, they all had access into that room. Do you think just because they're an authority? Shit, it was an authority that hurt me.
Right. Well, I was law enforcement, and it was fellow law enforcement that hurt me. And so imagine how scared I was one night. I woke up and they had a male watching me on 1-to-1 when I was on suicide watch. I immediately get out of here, please. I did it as calmly and smoothly as I could. I was like, look, I thought they had this marked in my record. I have MST. Me waking up with a man other than my husband watching over me is not cool. It puts me immediately in wanting to fight mode. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, it's triggered. It's like, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. And so just even going and getting a meal in the lunchroom, right? I could never figure out when all the girls were going. I try to line up with them, and I end up, nope, they're already gone. So here I am, single female, going through the line. And of course, guys are guys. Yeah, okay, I get it. But do you realize that 1 to 700?
Yeah.
Come on. And then you probably experienced the same thing when you were in the hospital for therapy time.
Oh,
I was
absolutely.
the only female in that time too.
Oh,
They
the
gave me
the
my
therapy
own
classes.
room.
Yes.
But
And
it
they
didn't
don't
help.
care. They don't do classes just for females. We finally got an MST PTSD female only class, but how long is that going to last before they say no? We have to integrate. No, you don't
No,
have to
they didn't
integrate
even have it.
because when you're in the spiral and you're in that stuck in that negative loop, you need people to help you get out of that negative loop. And if you have people that are triggering you and making it hard for you to see what's going on around you, you're not going to get out of that negative loop, and it keeps you stuck there.
Oh, and then the thing is that they just want to stuff you with drugs.
Right.
You
To
know,
stun you or make you a zombie. It literally.
a zombie, exactly. And like I complained because yeah, I had my own room, but the door didn't lock.
Right.
Go figure. And it was gonna be a guy that was gonna be, well, we'll watch your room and make sure no males come in.
Right.
Oh, that's comforting. It's not. So you know what? I wasn't sleeping. I would stay up all night, all day. So what was their solution?
Sleep meds.
Oh yeah, not just any kind. I mean,
Nope.
that as soon as I took them, I was out. They could have done anything to me, and I would not have known.
Which is not right. Not fair.
No, no. Why did I have to be that drugged up? It didn't
Because they don't stop and think. They just react and act, following policy and rules and regulations because they think that's what they're supposed to do instead of letting the human compassion come out and having grace for the individuals that they're dealing with. You know.
And that's why I'm saying they didn't even contemplate that with the men. Oh, well, why don't you give all the men that heavy duty sleeping pills and put them out and just let me sleep in peace.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, or there's times in the VA that I've been there and there will be one patient that's screaming out and outrageously irate, upset all night long, and they don't put them asleep. So everybody's kept up, and it's like, okay, this makes no sense whatsoever.
Right.
You're okay when one person's disruptive and disrupts everybody, but it's not okay when a person can't get to sleep. But you know what's best. Okay.
And then in the group talks, okay, I'm the only female. I'm there because I'm suffering from the MST. Oh yeah, I'm gonna just sit there and share that with this whole group of men. No way.
Well, even in a group of women, you don't want to share openly all the time because you don't know who knows who.
Well, yeah, and then the thing is that if you don't share, then you're not cooperating. You're not wanting to help yourself, and it's like you just don't win.
Have you gone through your record and looked at what they put in those classes? Oh, Granny, you need to. They actually put whether you're participating or not and your behaviors and everything.
Well, I'm sure I have quite the record then.
It's usually 1 or 2 facilitators per class, but they have to monitor all those people and keep notes for all those. You know, I just, it's sad the way everything's set up. And then I know veteran after veteran, class after class. Is there a way we can meet up outside the VA so we can support each other outside the groups? But the VA never encouraged us to share numbers or to set up group meetings on Meetup or anything. Didn't offer the platform for us to have a common meeting place, which you'd think if the VA's for the veterans, they'd have a place where the veterans could go to set up meetups and stuff like that so that we could help each other get better and help each other during times of strife.
Well, here we go. they have the new pact, right? That they
Right.
passed. That's supposed to help the veterans, with the burn pits. And, you have to sign up for the future. Here, sign up. And I'm thinking, how does that work? Really, how does that work? I don't know. But my question, and I asked the congressman here in Montana, they did a live town hall, and I asked him, I said, well, okay, so you have all these victims of the burn pits sign up. I said, is that just an indication so you know how many you need to deny? And that way you know how many to approve so that you're looking good in the public eye, like you did with the veterans of Vietnam with Agent Orange, because there's still veterans of Vietnam who are not getting care for Agent Orange.
Oh, I
So
know. And it's
how?
not just veterans, but the veterans' children. I mean, my
Oh
dad
yeah, they're
had
supposed
Agent
to be.
Orange,
Yeah.
and the Agent Orange affected the children with
Yes.
disabilities.
On that pact, I think that they only opened up. Don't quote me, but I remember reading three more spots in Vietnam for Agent Orange to that they recognize. Well, it doesn't just stay in that area. If
No,
there's wind, it blows. If there's any kind of water system, it flows. I mean, so you think that the guy down the river that isn't going to get exposed to that, if he's
right.
stepping through it with, it goes through their
And then the
clothes.
animals in the area, the whole environment's affected, not just the
Right. And
humans.
so it's not just that spot.
Oh, speaking of the environments being affected, I look at the environment, and since World War II, how everything started being affected when we started removing cannabis and psilocybin and other plants from wildlife. If you start looking
Yeah.
at the animals that consume those plants and how they're being affected, no wonder we have species that go extinct because we're not paying attention and looking at the bigger picture and trying to control what Mother Nature's growing for us. It's
Right.
like, why are we poisoning ourselves? Why are we creating these chemicals if it's going to have a bigger impact? I don't understand it, Granny. I
I
don't.
think it's all
We're
about
working
money.
against ourselves.
I think it's all about money. I had wrote something last night. I want you to hear this because when we had Laura Eisenhower on, and she is the great granddaughter of Dwight Eisenhower, the president.
Right.
Let me see here. Da, 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 da. Let me get my notes out.
Take
I
your
have a
time.
lot of them.
You got them.
Okay, she said that when we talked about veterans and PTSD, she said the most amazing things. And that was that their intentions, even though they found out later, that, especially with the Vietnam, that their intentions were pure, that they are warrior spirits within,
Right.
and that they were carrying the greater intention, and to not feel bad because of what the intentions of somebody else, like the government, and
Right.
even the people that came when they came home were saying, they were baby killers and all of this other stuff.
Well, a
They,
lot of them had no choice. They had no way to make a living for themselves, so they had no choice but went in the military. And so those people are living with guilt now. And it's like, you shouldn't live with guilt. You were
no,
doing the
because
best you could at the time you had what you had.
yes,
with the
they were
knowledge you
carrying the greater intention. They
had.
loved their country. They loved their family. They believed in freedom and rights. And
Yeah.
they were not going to allow communism to take over, whatever. But they had the greater intentions, because that's a true warrior,
Right.
is that they're doing it not for themselves. They're doing it for others, for the country, and that
Yeah.
they should not feel guilty on doing that. But they're programmed, that people are programming them and, you know, putting it out there that they need to because they want the power over them.
Or if we don't go get them, they'll come get us.
Yeah.
You know,
So
if all the warriors around the world stood up and said, why aren't we doing this through paper and arguments? If we are evolved as we say we are, we're not just animals like the ones running around outside, then why are we still going to war? What is bigger? Oh, wait, it's financial gains. It's so you can destroy civilizations and rebuild them in your image and make money. That's what it's about.
And she said, love supersedes everything.
It does.
So their love for us, you know, as veterans, our love, it should supersede anything that we, you know, allow to come in or whatever, you know, that I just thought what she said made so much sense for our veterans. And I can't wait till she comes back on our show.
Oh, I'm very excited, and I can't wait.
Oh, what was it that you said that she was going to talk about next? I can't remember the.
Well, you know, she has all the information from her great-grandfather's presidency on the military-industrial complex. She's told us on last night. She told us she's worked with abductees and contactees. You know, there's no telling. This woman knows a lot. And that's why I figured we'd have her on again. And I didn't want to keep her too long last night, knowing she has multiple conferences coming up this next week. Yeah. You know, she's just like,
we were on for 2 hours.
Right. And we're both, we get on a topic and we get going. We won't shut up.
And that's the thing, is that she seemed like she was very relaxed, and I enjoyed that. I there was a lot of it that I did not know initially when she started speaking, but then she, I don't want to say dumbed it up, but she made it to where at least I could understand by her saying this or that, you know, on examples of what she was saying or doing. So, yeah. Oh, hey there, old helmet.
Strap on spelled backwards is no parts. That one I have not seen. I've seen stress spelled backwards as desserts. Which, you know, that's programming you every time you get stressed to go for those desserts. Wake up, people.
Yeah.
All of the programming since birth, you know it, Granny. That's why, you know, I started looking at nature and animals, because I realized it was the programming. When we came into this world, I loved everything and everyone unconditionally. And I had a class last week in a Buddhist class at Upaya, and we were talking about when you realized you first loved something. And I was like, wait a minute, I always loved everything. It's when people started telling me, you don't love this, you don't need to love this because of this. Well, why? Exactly. I thought we were supposed to love everything and everyone, and because they're all different for their own reasons.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's all the programming we've had and been indoctrinated with since birth. It's like when teacher went through my meditation with me, the very first thing is, who told you not to cry? The hush, little baby, don't you cry. You're supposed to cry. I don't care if you're a man, you're supposed to cry. Somebody hurt your feelings, let it out. Get it out. Figure out why it hurt your feelings. What inside you is hurt that you have to heal still. Or what inside them is hurt. You know, maybe they're doing the mirror and that's why they're being angry and mean towards you, is because there's something in you that they're jealous about, or they haven't healed in themselves. And so you make them angry, even though you're being nice and kind, it makes them angry. And it's because they don't understand what's going on with themselves, because they haven't stopped to think, oh, wait, did somebody else do something to trigger me? And now I'm taking it out on this person who has nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's just like the old analogy. You see kids, if you see kids being mean to animals, usually it's because somebody else was mean to them.
Oh, yeah. Or they witnessed it themselves.
Right. And it's just a chain reaction, like that chain mail everybody gets and hates.
Oh, I haven't seen a chain mail forever.
Oh,
have you?
I haven't seen chain mail forever, but spam. Spam starting to be like chain mail. You know, it's like, are we really serious here? Why are you taking up my time with unsolicited stuff I didn't ask for? You know?
Exactly.
I know that the world's built around money and consumerism, but I understand why. And they talk about Jesus going in the temples and kicking over stuff and throwing stuff. He was trying to tell everybody, look, this is going to, the greed, the ego, the pride, it's going to keep you from your highest self, and you're never going to get anywhere. And you're going to be battling with each other for who's better and who's got more constantly. He was trying to tell everybody, we're all equal. We're all the same. Get rid of the money. Get rid of the problems.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see much in change. I think it's getting worse, and I think that's what Laura was talking about, that it's gonna take a, what is it? Did she say not an explosion, but something that will make you change? Something tragic or something that will open you up to go, there's got to be more to this than what's going on. And
that's one reason we can never underestimate the value of planting a seed, because if you say something to somebody and they dismiss you and you, okay, I don't need this, and you go ahead, don't worry about whether they heard what you said or not, because I guarantee you somebody else is going to come along and say the same exact thing over and over to them, and eventually they're going to get it. And it might not be exactly the same. The next person might say it a little bit differently. But eventually, everybody's going to start waking up and realizing, oh, wait, maybe I'm the issue here. Maybe I need to get help and start talking about the things I've seen and heard or done, and can get through this. I can get better.
Yeah. It kind of makes you, because you're told so much. And I didn't realize it until last night when she was just sharing the different things. And I'm like, that's me. Oh, that's me. And I'm thinking, wow, I got to fix on some of these things, because, yeah, that's something that I was programmed into
Believing, right.
And believing in. And so I just got something. We have from the Office of Veterans Affairs, and it's August newsletter for what's going on, what's happening in the VA. And the first thing that popped up on this letter is healthcare investigations, multiple companies and individuals charged in connection with foreign medical program fraud schemes. And that there is a total loss in the VA from this. They're estimating $67 million.
Wow. All about the money again, huh?
It's all about the money. Now, how come multiple companies and individuals charged? What do you mean? You didn't do an investigation with these companies before? You didn't do a background check on, the people? But this is an investigation by the VA Office of Inspector General, OIG.
And that doesn't make sense, because to go in the military, they go through your asshole clean and like a spit and whistle.
Exactly. So 12 individuals, okay, and 24 companies participated in this that targeted veterans.
Wow.
67 million.
That's
and
ridiculous.
Then former VA pharmacists sentenced in connection with fraud scheme. Yeah, that's how you say it. His is $19 million that he has taken over 4 years as a pharmacist in the VA.
Wow.
Okay? Now, let's see what else. Oh, business executive sentenced in connection with COVID-19 fraud scheme. Okay. That was defrauding at $330,000. Okay. Then a VA psychiatrist sentenced for a scheme to sell opioids to patients. And that was in a psychiatrist at the Marion VA Medical Center in Illinois. So she was selling pain pills off the side.
Everybody's trying to get by, Granny, because inflation, people can't afford to eat, they can't afford to pay their bills. And it's everybody's got debt that I know. And it's like, are you serious? When are they going to start putting caps on all these things?
I
For
know.
example,
Why would
if you're in bankruptcy, the bank shouldn't be allowed to continuously charge you overdraft charges. They shouldn't allow your bank to overdraft if you're in bankruptcy. You know, that's just putting you in the hole more and more. You can't get out of that way.
Okay, I just got an email here. It says FAYETTE bill. Fayetteville? Yeah,
Yeah.
VA ranked among best hospitals in USA. Okay. What are they ranked? What are they ranked as? Part of killing people? Are they the best at killing people? Or, what are they defrauding? What?
I don't know, Granny, because that's the VA I actually go to.
That's your VA?
Yes, ma'am. That's why I'm really surprised to hear that it's one of the best. That scares me, Granny. If it's one of the best, what are the other veterans going through? Because we had to fight tooth and nail for everything when I've gone to this VA. I've had to go to the patient advocate repeatedly through the years.
Have you seen this?
I haven't watched it yet. I saw it and I shared it, but I haven't watched it yet.
The report also found that are more. Oh shoot! It went to a stupid commercial. Yeah. Doggone it! I hate it when they just do videos. I want to see the wording too.
I know. They post the transcript below.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, I know that there's good VAs out there.
I do too. But Granny, I've sent multiple emails.
Consistent.
I've sent multiple emails since I healed myself, asking them to get me a team of physicians from our VA to help them help the veterans, to show them how to get better. What I've been teaching you and other veterans that are friends of ours. Right. They've yet to contact me and set up an appointment.
Well, and no, because it's out of their.
They don't want to help us. They've got their agenda.
They have their agenda.
What they think they know best, and I'm like, okay, but I got rid of how many incurable diseases, Granny? Gingivitis disc disease, complex regional pain syndrome. Apparently, what I did works. Why won't you talk to me? Why won't you get
and growing bone?
Right.
I mean, you have X-rays from before and after, and they're like, well, we just sent you home to basically die last year. I knew you then.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a complete 180 on who you are. And I mean, there would be no way you would be here with me on a podcast. Absolutely none whatsoever. And you have light on. You were in complete darkness because you could not handle light, period. Mm-hmm. So
light gave me migraines. The light gave me migraines because of all the medicine I was on. I would be talking and I'd start getting spasms, and Mike would have to come in here, and when we did the talks and stuff with you and the other veteran ladies, I know.
Yeah, I mean, it was heartbreaking because you were trying so hard just to communicate, and you would be stuttering, which I understood because I did that. And so, and it's nothing worse than when you're trying to talk is somebody trying to talk for you and saying, are you trying to say this? Are you trying to, because all it does is it stops you. And
then you get frustrated and don't know what to say. That's why I loved our talks, because you would tell me the same thing Mike would say, is just breathe. Yeah, and every time I heard that, the song Just Breathe would pop in my head. And I'd remember, okay, I just need to breathe. I just need to get through this moment and I'll be okay. Mm-hmm. And as long as I calmed down, I slowed my breathing down, I was able to get through it slowly but surely with all of your help. You all helped me.
Yeah, we did have a group of girls that was pretty cool. In fact, we still do. We still keep in touch with each other, and that's
Well,
something that a lot of
I'm
people
hoping on
don't do.
the third Saturdays, I'm hoping that they'll join us and bring their family and friends and everybody come. And
Yeah.
I haven't decided a time yet. We still have not gotten any submissions, believe it or not, for mental health professionals. And I know there's mental health professionals out there that have volunteer hours they need to fill. So
Oh, yeah.
if you have volunteer hours you need to fill, please come join our Zoom calls. That way, if anybody has a meltdown, it's not just a bunch of friends getting together talking about what they've
Mhm.
seen, trying to piece the puzzles together. It will have mental health professionals there too. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's about coming together and getting through this together, better together, stronger together. May
Yes.
the circle be unbroken, you know?
Now,
What you find now?
There is breaking news. Oh, wow. GOP leaders accuse Biden of, I got to click on it, of course, of the biggest corruption scandal in U.S. history, impeachment. I keep on hearing that. Oh, the House of Republican leaders are holding their weekly press meeting. McConnell, is that his name? Yeah. They keep on saying it, but they never will. Oh, speaking of Biden, did you know this? When he was doing his 9/11 in Alaska, do you know the newest lie he did?
What's that?
He said that he went and visited the 9/11 the second day after the towers collapsed, the next day. He
Really?
wasn't. He was in Congress in a meeting and voting. He was not there. But in his mind,
He was.
he was. He's got
Wow.
lies, lies, lies. And yet we still hold him as president. How is that even possible? How can we, I'm talking to everybody, be so blinded by this incompetent person? Okay? I don't care if he's Republican, Democrat, Independent. He is a person that is incompetent of holding the office of the presidency and commander in chief.
He's
But
not the
I
only
bet you,
one. There's
yeah.
several that are in the Senate and Congress that don't
Oh,
need to be there anymore. It's like
no.
it's almost as if we need to have a cutoff age. Did you see the latest report that came out? The Mexico disclosure actually
No.
showed a body at the disclosure
Two
conference.
bodies.
2 bodies, you said?
2 bodies, and actually had the forensics from the labs.
Did you hear Michael? He said they actually had the
No.
forensics from the labs too.
Oh, wow.
Did you see it? Did you get it pulled up?
They were 1,000 years old, and they were from a datum mine.
From a data mine, and they were 1,000 years old.
What's a data mine?
Datum.
Datums.
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 It's a creature that it's like a little microscopic creature.
A microscopic creature. He said.
Anyway, they build up in the ocean, and that's what those mines were datum mines. They were cutting bricks out, and they found these bodies.
Oh, they were cutting bricks out of this mine and found the bodies there. See, I'm wondering why our government didn't show bodies and stuff. I know there's more bodies out there. I know there's probably living beings out there that they've got held captive.
Oh, you know it.
I know. And
Because
the thing is,
there's
it's
people
sad.
coming forward and saying so.
Right. It's like, why are we holding them captive? They were visiting and they don't belong here. Let them go home. You know?
Because they want
Like,
information.
or we're curious children and have to experiment with what we perceive as toys or something new and unknown. You know?
Yeah, I heard.
It hurts my heart, Granny. It really does.
It's showing the worst of humanity.
It really is. It really
Yeah.
is.
Well, I think they showed on the TV program I watched, because, I've been doing research for our show, that they had a live alien from Roswell, okay? Or no, 2 years after Roswell. They had a live alien, and the guy that found him was through, what do you call it, telepathic? The alien
Telepathically, right.
was showing him images and stuff like that, but nobody else could handle the information. They were like freaking
It's
out.
it's because when they speak, it's quick.
The alien's nickname was J-Rod.
The alien's nickname was J-Rod.
So if you want to look up the old Art Bell shows,
So if you want to look up the old Art Bell show
with
with
J-Rod,
J-Rod,
is a fuck,
come
But
tell.
anyway, this man stayed with this alien, lived with him, because he was the only one that could communicate back and forth with him, and literally just lived with him until he passed away of unknown reasons.
Right. Probably our medicine or our food killed them because we're insensitive. We don't ask questions. We just assume we know it all and go diving in. We need to quit that. We need to look at the bigger picture, the bigger circle of life. It's not just us. There's other,
so
as
many
Laura was talking about, dimensions, interdimension stuff. When we started setting off nukes, we weren't just hurting us. We were hurting those, the bigger cosmos. It's like, hello, wake up. Why don't we think they're here? They're not coming here because they're scared of us, obviously.
No, they obviously have more technology than we do, which
Right.
is what ego came in.
Mhm.
Ego came in and said, "Oh, we got to have this. But they're
And so
going
we
to kill
started
us because
taking.
we're war."
We've got to quit taking. We've got to quit thinking that we know it all, and we're never going to get advanced as a civilization if we do that.
No,
we
they
keep
probably have
separation.
the answers to saving our planet, healing our sick, our cancer victims, all of it, and they're like, "But we'll lose money."
Well, something else I've learned, Granny, is working with the VAC, the Veterans Action Council. I've learned part of the reason we have so many problems is everything is separated and causing degradation. All these different groups are lobbying in Congress and internationally for different issues, and they're not cross-talking at all. My issue's more important. No, my issue's more important. But if they sit down at the table together and look, I guarantee you there's points on both their issues that crisscross at some point. And if they started working together, we'd start getting stuff fixed and start progressing faster. They designed everything to cause the separation and degradation and the arguing and the hate. And we've got to realize that we have to work together to rise above it.
And if that happens, the people that are in control will be out of business.
Yes,
there's more of us than them.
A lot more, Grady.
I mean, how many billionaires are there in the world? Seriously, or millionaires?
Right.
How many? There are more of us than there is of them.
And we
could go and take control if we wanted to be. What do you call it?
We are the consumers, therefore they're getting their money from us. Why are we continuing to give them money when they're not doing for us? I don't understand it. That's why we quit buying everything. We quit being consumers on everything, Grady.
Yeah.
We're very, very specific about what we do get. And it's because of that very thing is I got tired of seeing all these rich people doing their agendas and not what was best for everybody on the planet. You know, you've got enough money. You could fix the problems in the world, but all you're focused on is making more money. And what's best for you, which is very.
So why don't we just go and take over?
No, can't do that. We got to do this from a place of love.
I mean, I can do it by love. Knock, knock. I'm here to start taking over. You can relinquish. You can relinquish the reign and.
The men in power would never allow the women to take over, Granny. They never
look at the people behind me. Do you see those millions of people standing behind me? Yeah, we're here. We're here to stop. I could be very nice about it, but that's not ever going to happen. We can't even come together as veterans and saying, no more. We want our Vietnam veterans taken care of now. No excuse, nothing. They're dying and nothing is being done, or they can't get help. because they're still being denied. We can change that. If we all came together, but we can't.
What upsets me, Granny, is every last one of us, we go to the doctor, please help me get better. We're not asking to give me stuff to cover up the symptoms. No, we want to get better so we can go on with our lives and get back to doing what we're doing.
Right.
What we need to do to help everybody around us. Instead, they're giving you stuff, and then that stuff's making you sicker, and so they're giving you more stuff to add to it. And it's just to line the pocketbooks and keep you as a repeat customer, because they can't make money if you're not going to come back.
Well, when we were talking, when we were talking last night about just you and Michael, okay, and the jobs that you held, okay, and then when you got sick, they just made you sicker. To where and then you were victimized because of them saying this is this and this. But look at our warriors, our combat warriors coming back. Okay, those guys are driven individuals, okay? They have a job, they will go and do it. They will do it to their best ability. When they go to the VA, hey, I'm having this issue, I need it fixed. Because I have a family to take care of. I have this that's, bills to pay, blah, 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 blah. And the VA drugs them up.
Yeah.
And so they can't work anymore. The family starts going down. They start in bankruptcy. They start losing stuff. They lose their home. They lose their cars. And the veteran themselves are taking it out on them. Because they don't understand what's wrong with me. Why am I not able to work? Why am I not able to get over this? I should be able to just suck it up and go. That's what a warrior does, is go. And then their only solution is?
Yeah, because they don't think they have
my family would be better off. My family will be better off without having to take care of me.
Because all I'm doing is dragging them down and slowing them down. That's the way they feel. Because if we were in the field and one of us went down, we carried them. Wingmen. You never leave a soldier behind. That's what they preach to us. But we were talking about how the VA does this. But when you're in the military and you get sick, here's ibuprofen. Press on. It's completely different in the healthcare. The way you get healthcare.
Yeah, it's almost like a lack of it.
Yeah.
You're just supposed to work it through.
And they teach the hurry up and wait. Oh my goodness. When I went to Little Rock VA, you wait for hours sometimes for an appointment after your appointment time. And that's why I was glad they started doing the community care. But then the community care is BS because, for example, they've started the whole health thing now, Granny. Well, now they're making you go through the VA's whole health massage therapist, chiropractor, acupuncture first. And if they can't see you, then they'll let you go outside. And that's not right either, because if you've been going outside the VA for years to see a chiropractor or acupuncturist or massage therapist, they're breaking your continuity of care, making you come back into the VA and
that you already don't trust.
That you don't trust. You haven't had that trust base built up. They don't have your case history built up. They don't know what your body needs because they've been working with it. And so you have to start all over again. And it's
never see the same person.
Right. When they did that to me with my acupuncture, I ended up in the ER because I went from Chinese acupuncture to Korean acupuncture. And I had to go to the patient advocate to get back into my Chinese acupuncturist. And no, she might have done the same thing, but she wasn't doing the same thing.
And then that's the scary part.
Yeah.
That's the scary part. Like when they go into mental health, see your counselor. Just when you get through and they're starting to work through the issues, next time you come in, there's a new counselor. And they say, well, tell me your story. And you start all over again.
They make you go see a social worker, and they make you tell everything to the social worker, like the social worker is your counselor and your therapist. And then they're like, nope, you got to go see a psychologist now. And then you got to go through all that all over again with the psychologist. And you got to build a rapport with them and the trust and everything all over again. Well,
only to have them leave.
Right. If they leave, then you have to start over. They send you, instead of giving you a new psychologist, they send you back to the social worker, and then you get another psychologist, or you get kicked out of the system if you're not persistent about getting and staying in the system. That's how veterans are falling through the cracks, is if they're not, me, I won't help, get me help now. If they don't stay on top of it, the VA just.
No, and most men, let's put it blunt, most men will say, okay, I'm here. Oh, okay, whatever. And they won't fight for themselves because they'll either, one, somebody needs it more than I do.
Yeah.
Two, they don't have the patience for it.
Or it's the hurry up and wait mentality again, and they think they're supposed to wait.
Mm-hmm.
They were programmed so much that they believe that the doctors at the VA and the people that work at the VA are going to do what they're being told that they're going to do. But if they don't ever follow up, guess what? That's not going to happen.
No,
and
because they won't follow up.
Right, because they don't. They have too many patients to keep up with.
Right.
And so people need to understand you have to become your own advocate when you want to get better.
Yes. I was told here in Montana when my mental health pills were off. I knew it. I could feel it. I call it the pit. You don't ever want to be in the pit. But I had promised my family and my kids that if I got close to the pit, that I would say something. That's my promise. I've kept it. So when I said there's an issue here, I'm experiencing these things again, and I can see the pit, which is supposed to be, And they said, oh, well, we can't give you any kind of change of medication. This is the PCP. You have to see a psychiatrist to be able to do that.
Right.
Okay. Oh, it's going to be a year and a half before you see a psychiatrist. I'm like,
well, see,
okay,
and
you don't understand that I'm at the pit. I can see it. You want me to wait a year and a half? I said, this is not working. This is not going to work for me. If you want to keep me out of the pit, I don't want to go into this pit, but I see it.
Yeah.
And you're telling me I have to wait a year and a half?
That's ridiculous.
And she said, yes. It wasn't until somebody else says, well, did you ask him for community care? I had never even heard of it. Never. You would think that person would say, why don't we try community care?
But you know what? My community care, I tried to get it for EMDR, Granny, and they couldn't get it for me because they ran out of funds already. And so they were going to send me to another part of the VA to get it, because your primary care has a mental health team. So does the women's care has a mental health team. And then you have mental health clinic. So they have all this funding spread out. That's why veterans can't get care, is because they keep robbing Peter to pay Paul. Well, if we can't get you care here, then we'll send you to this department to get community care, which is not right. No, we need to fix this so that everybody gets equal care across the board. Quit robbing Peter to pay Paul, and that's why I told them, no, I'm not going to go through the EMDR therapy, because they were wanting me to go through the women's health clinic. You know what? I've been trying to get pregnant since 2016, Granny. You know what that just did to me? That insulted me. Because I've been trying to get pregnant and they've been denying me fertility treatments. And so that meant that if I took the EMDR through that meant that some other woman wouldn't be able to get fertility treatments. That's not right. And so I said, you know what? I'll figure it out. I'll just keep going and I'll figure it out, because that's not right.
And we shouldn't have to think that way.
No, we shouldn't. We should never.
That's the whole thing. We shouldn't have to. I mean, thankfully, I did contact community care, okay, in case anybody's wondering. And I got outside care here in my little town, and I love them. And I am like getting so much more help. I cannot believe the difference from VA mental health to outside mental health. It's huge.
Really?
Huge.
I haven't gotten that luxury, Granny. I've been stuck in the system at the VA going through their classes. And I noticed their classes, every veteran's wanting to know the same treatment, the same training we've always had, which is problem, solution, and then you work through how to get there to the solution. And that's not how they're training the vets in mental health either. That's why we're telling everybody is the system is flawed and it's not structured the same as what we're all used to. And so when you go into the VA system, having been in the military, you expect everything to be designed and organized the same way, and it's not.
No, it's not.
And the only way you figure out how to get through the VA and get the care you need is by talking to other veterans, the ones that have been there, that have done it for years.
Okay. I want your honest opinion.
Okay.
Patient advocates. I think that's a joke. You can't get in touch with them. And when they do call you back, okay, the issue is like months done. It's like,
and do they actually ever do anything about what your complaint is? It's almost
I don't think
as if
they're working for the VA.
They are put there just to be the calm down, it's going to be okay. It's a distraction so that you think you're going to be taken care of and they're going to make changes, but they're not. They have things set the way they want them set and they're not listening. And so then we go to these other veterans organizations that we think can help us, and then they've got their own agendas. And it's like, well, who is for the patient? I
think that you're right, because look at how many of those organizations still want what they see what's important instead of saying, okay, we're a collective here. I mean, have you experienced that?
I've left so many groups, Granny. So many groups. And the reason I've left, to be honest, is because they were all about their money or about themselves. And I can't be around people like that because they are blind to the bigger picture. When they're focused on their issues, they're blind to, well, if we go this way, you're actually being a bull in a china shop when you did have that mentality and you go into things, because you're not looking at what's the fallout going to be if I do this action. People aren't stopping and thinking. Everybody's just in reaction mode constantly.
But what is the action that are they going in for the action that this is what the veterans truly need? We have a group of females that need this, and we have new soldiers that are coming out of combat that need this. And then we have the old soldiers, like me, and, and they're looking at this. There's like so many different issues, but whoever's in charge of that group, do they take it in as a collective and say, this is what we need to generalize what the issue is and then go after that?
See,
or is it only what the person's in charge of? It's what they think.
That's something I'm still trying to figure out with some of these groups, Granny. And, words, people can speak, talk all they want. Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
And that's why I've gone to a lot of groups and I've left and not talked to them anymore, and I won't go back to them. And it's because I pointed out stuff and they didn't change, or they got triggered and started being argumentative with me. It's like, okay, you don't see what I'm seeing. You haven't seen what I've seen and know why I'm coming from where I'm coming from. So you apparently and obviously don't want or need my help. I will go now.
Yeah. Well,
because it's every organization out there so far has been about money except for the VAC. That's why I've stuck with these guys. These guys have been doing it for 30 plus years and not asking for a penny from anybody. And they're pushing for not just cannabis rights, they're pushing for natural and alternative medical treatment, period.
Yeah.
There needs to be more groups out there like that. And in the VAC, we don't have a hierarchy. Everybody's equal. Yeah, we have a moderator, but that's just to make sure that nobody talks over each other and we keep a clean, positive flow.
Right. That makes sense.
Organizations I've been a part of that everybody are equal and everybody has equal input and nobody's over it. Those have been the best organizations I've participated in, Granny. And those organizations are actually the ones getting stuff done and making the change. And the people that are in those organizations, I found their heart matches their intent and what they say and what they're going for.
I have a family history of military. You do too.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked for the American Legion, and I saw a lot of good things going on. But what I did see the most that was heartbreaking was the difference between the older vets and the younger vets. Because the older vets were stuck in that mentality. They were not willing to go into what the younger generation of soldiers were needing or wanting and needed help with. They have, like, this is the program and this is the way it's been done and it's been successful, so we're not going to change it. You know?
I've
And
experienced that myself. It's like, but things aren't getting done. People aren't
no,
happy.
and then
That's
they
why you're
wonder
not
why.
getting numbers.
You know, they wonder, why are we losing membership? Or, you know, why are we not, you know, our numbers are dwindling down? Because everybody just looks at you as, well, you're just a bar. You're just in it for money.
Yeah.
And, you know, yeah, you do a few things here, but in order to have those few things, you make the soldier walk through fire before helping them. And it's like, are you serious? Now, like I said, I had experienced it to where most of the people that were working the program, you know, were Vietnam vets, that generation. And then they had the older guys that were stuck in the, but those guys, the Vietnam vets, they worked hard.
Yeah, they
They
did.
literally worked hard on those programs and trying to fix things and help the veterans. And you know, you know, it was amazing to see. But in order for the groups to grow, they have to change that mentality. You know, it took forever for them to even get up to date on sending texts, you know, using the computer, that kind of thing. And
I bet they didn't blind carbon copy, and so everybody's security and privacy was out there too, because they didn't think ahead. Oh wait, I wouldn't want everybody to have my email. People don't think about stuff. They just start head first, and it's like, stop, think.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Is that well, I know the American Legion and the VFW, they do have that. They've worked through all of those things, but it's the mentality at the working level. You know, at the posts, you'll see some posts that'll just keep dwindling and dwindling, and they're like, I don't understand, and you're like, really? I can tell you, but you're not going to want to hear it.
Exactly. They never, ever want to hear what the female vets have to say. And if they would listen to the female vets, I think things would probably start changing for the better, because female vets would start coming in, because we want to hang out with our brothers just as much as we did in the military, still to this day.
Yeah, and there's ones that are like really successful. Yes, they have the bar, but their programs are working. You know, they go out and they do the work and help the community and, you know, are active. But on that end, why are they successful? It's because they're listening to the younger generation coming in, saying, this is what we need. You know, this is how we think about things. And even though it may be different, they're like, hey, we get it. No problem. Let's try this. You know,
but their freedom of speech rights are immediately trampled on when they don't listen to them. It's like, wait, what was I in the military for? You're saying my freedom of speech is invalid when you tell me you're not going to listen to what I say. Thought we were all fighting for the same thing here.
Yeah. And so, you know, you can see those differences. A lot of them are successful, and then a lot of them are going downhill. And it's sad because you have these new guys coming out. And yeah, let's go to the bar. But all they're at the bar is they hear all these World War II vets talking about way back when, all drunk. And then you're thinking, okay, where's the other young people in here? Why
Yeah.
isn't there anybody else here? And isn't there some, and then they're like, okay, well, let's go.
Yeah.
And then I could see why we have so many more veterans creating their own programs,
Hmm.
because they're like, we're tired of the old stuff. We want something that's going to work and that's actually going to help other veterans.
Absolutely, Granny. Absolutely.
And I
Well,
think that's good that you have a good group. Well, we're at 1 hour and 15 minutes, girl. I think we
wow.
better close this down because I have another show and I'm excited to be talking to. She calls herself Tinfoil. I love it. And she is an activist on finding the truth. What's the truth? Oh, yeah. She was on and watched our show last night.
Oh, really?
She absolutely loved it. She was asking so many questions because she said, I loved it. Then I'm like, okay, what did she love? And because I couldn't see the comments. And so I was the one writing all those questions. I'm like, oh, okay. Sorry.
Well, I know
said,
she
I
was
love
asking questions, and then a friend of Mike and mine, he was asking
Mhm.
questions as well because he's always liked Laura's talks, and he was so excited to hear that she was going to be on with us because he's like, I used to watch it on YouTube, then suddenly she disappeared. What happened? I'm like, oh, honey, they banned her. Why'd they ban her? The truth.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, that's why you
Yeah.
liked her because she speaks the truth, honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I told her, I said, well, next week, I said, if you enjoyed Laura, I said, you need to watch out because we have Charnel coming on. And you will absolutely love her too because they are buddies and they're always doing, conferences together. And I said, wait till you talk to her and see
Yeah.
her. I said, you got to watch that show. But I hope that you'll be able to watch our show when I have her on. She is the truth seeker. And I tell you what, she has dug in some deep stuff. She even went to Margolia. No, not Margolia. She's in Florida. So she went to, where President Trump lives.
Bars Lago? Is that
Yes.
Largo.
it? Key
Yes.
Largo.
Whatever they call his.
Mar-a-Lago?
Mar-Lago. Yes. Thank you.
We don't
She's-
watch a lot of TV.
I know.
So
And I don't pronounce things worth
neither do
anything.
we ask for forgiveness and keep going. It's like I'm probably going to pronounce Dr. Charnel's last name wrong, but ask for forgiveness and keep
Oh
going,
yeah, but she's been there on a I don't know if it was a fundraiser or if it was for some kind of event. But anyway, she's going to be on, and I'm excited to have her come on and talk her truth.
Wonderful. I'm excited
Mhm.
for you, Grady. I'm excited about our show coming clean and our third Saturdays of the month, our talks that we're going to do. I believe that we're going to be able to bring people together and start sharing experiences and maybe get more pieces of the puzzle and piece them together and figure out who's really in charge and maybe make them want to leave without a fight. If we all start talking and working together, the ones in charge might leave without a fight and the good guys come in and help us evolve finally and get ahead.
I know you're so sweet.
Why?
I know, because I'm just so negative. I don't see these guys going out without a fight. Because
We do it with love. They're going to be confused and scratching their heads and be like, I'm out of here,
And that's that whole, I know. I have that love.
We got to try something that's never been done before, Granny.
I know.
That's the only way we'll get, that's what I'm telling people. We want suffering to end. Everybody wants suffering to end. Well, we got to do something ironic or radical, whatever you want to call it. Something that's never been done before, and let's do it together. Let's do it.
Oh, you mean like that Michael Jackson song?
Which one's that?
Oh, the news is We Are the World or something. We are the children.
Oh, yes.
We are the
Absolutely. That one actually, there was I forgot how many different artists came together, and
There
it
was
was the
lots
Children
of
of Africa. They did that for, I believe, is the what I'm thinking about. Speaking of, I don't know why the world doesn't change the way we help Africa. You give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach a man a fish, he eats for life. Why are we just sending food over there? We need to give them renewable resources and the means to grow hydroponically and teach them how to do everything and sustain on their own. Then we could start sending the children the education materials and they could talk to each other today.
Because they want them to be under their thumb.
That's
They want to
right.
go over there and, Bill Gates experiments on them. Oh, we're going to go over there and give them this new medicine.
Big test bed, more control. That's all it's about. You got that right, sister.
And we'll see how many do they die and or have complications. And if it's underneath the FDA expectations, then we can go to the United States and give it to them as we eat more and more insect products.
Thank you so much for having me, Grady, and talking to
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you. Any final thoughts?
No, just I'm excited about our guest, Dr. Charnell, as next week, and then the following week we have Barbara Butcher, who was the medical examiner for the World Trade Center, and then the week after that we have Kevin Day, who was on the Nimitz, and then we have the week after that we have Amy Audios, who's a veteran as well. She can record audio tracks and tell you who has contracts on your head if you're a targeted individual. And I've got so many more lined up. I'm so excited about
I know you are, for never doing podcasts, you are rocking it, girl. You are rocking it.
I always wanted to do radio, but didn't think I'd ever get to do it. And so why not
Here
do it
you
now?
are.
Right?
Here you are. We had so much fun last night. So, all right, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody that's watching or listening, please, if you're having any kind of issues, if you need help, please stop, think, and call the suicide hotline, okay? You are here for a purpose. There is a reason for you to be here. I don't care what anybody says to you. Don't listen to the negative, okay? Even if you're telling yourself the negative, you are worth it. I love you, okay? I may not know you, but I love you because you're a soldier. You put yourself in a situation that was helping others and caring for the greater intentions of our country, your families, all of that. So you have a purpose. Do not let those demons bring you down. Do not let them take your life. Okay? Do not fight. You fight like you've never fought anything before. They are your enemy. Do not succumb to that. Get the help. Call, text, come on my show. I don't care. Go to the emergency room. Reach out to a battle buddy. I don't care. Don't do it. Okay? Don't. This week is Suicide Prevention Week. I will be on Friday. I have my show and co-partner that we will be doing the oh golly, I forgot the name of my show. Leftovers. There we go. That Leftovers is about the people that are left behind and what they are having to deal with after somebody commits suicide. And if you knew the trauma that you're going to put on your family or loved ones, you would not want them to go through that. You think your trauma is bad now? They're taking on your trauma plus the whole family's trauma onto themselves. And so that's why it's important to stop, think, and call. All righty. I love you. Have a great afternoon. I'll be back this evening at 3 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, and that's 4 o'clock CST time, and 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thank you. I still.
With a need to bleed you when the light goes green. Best believe I'm in the zone to be. From a yin to my yang to Z. Put a grin on my chin when you come to me. Cause I'll win, I'm a one of a kind. And I'll bring death to the place you're about to be. Another river of blood running under my feet. Forged in a fire lit long ago. Stand next to me, you'll never stand alone. I'm last to leave, but the first to go. Lord, make me dead before you make me old. I feed on the fear of the devil inside of the enemy faces in my sight. Aim with a hand, shoot with a mind, kill with a heart like Arctic ice. I am a soldier and I'm marching on. I am a soldier and I'm marching on. I am a warrior, this is my song. I am a warrior and this is my song. I'm basking in the glow of the rising war. Lay waste to the ground of an enemy shore. Wade through the blood spilled on the floor. And if another one stands, I'll kill some more. Bullet in the breach and a fire in me. Like a cigarette thrown to gasoline. If death don't bring you fear, I swear you'll fear these marching feet. Come to the nightmare, come to me. Deep down in the dark where the devil be. In the mall where the jaws and the razor teeth. Where the brimstone burns and the angel weeps. Call to the gods if I cross your path. And my silhouette hangs like a body bag. Hope is a moment now long past. The shadow of death is the one I cast. I am a soldier and I'm marching on. I am a warrior and this is my song. My eyes are steel and my gaze is long. I cannot hear you. I am a warrior and this is my song.
We're not just going to shoot the bastard. We're going to cut out their living guts and use them to grease the treads of our tanks. We're going to murder those lousy bastards by the bushel.
Now I live lean and I mean to inflict the grief. And the least of me is still out of your reach.